Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Roadhouse, 1989 film. Roadhouse is a 1989 American action film directed by Rowdy Herrington and starring Patrick Swayze as a bouncer at a newly refurbished roadside bar who protects a small town in Missouri from a corrupt businessman. Sam Elliott also plays a bouncer, the mentor, friend, and foil of Swayze's character. The cast also includes Kelly Lynch as Swayze's love interest, and Ben Gazzara as the main antagonist. Plot: James Dalton is a professional cooler, doorman, or bouncer with a mysterious past who is enticed from his current job at a club in New York City by Frank Tillman to take over security at his club bar, the Double Deuce, in Jasper, Missouri. Tillman plans to invest substantial money into the club to enhance its image, and needs a first-rate cooler to maintain stability. Arriving in Jasper, Dalton eventually takes lodging at a local farm owned by Emmett. He attracts attention driving his 1965 Buick Riviera and having a quiet demeanor, contrasting with the tough locals. Dalton's real car is a 1986 Bigfoot as Dalton and his friends look on with contempt. That night, Doc visits Dalton and attempts to persuade him to leave. However, their conversation is interrupted by a powerful explosion at Emmett's house next door. Dalton rescues Emmett from the blaze before his house is destroyed. He then witnesses one of Wesley's henchmen, Jimmy, fleeing the scene, and manages to intercept him. After a vicious fight, Dalton kills Jimmy by ripping out his throat with his bare hand. The next morning, Dalton receives an ominous phone call from Wesley, who vows to have either Wade or Doc killed. At that moment, a badly beaten Wade staggers into the Double Deuce. Believing Doc to be in danger, Dalton races to the hospital alone, but she refuses to leave with him, repulsed by his increasingly violent nature. Upon returning to the Double Deuce, Dalton finds Wade sprawled out on the bar with a knife lodged in his chest. In tears of rage, Dalton pulls the knife free and jumps into his car, determined to settle the score with Wesley. Driving his Mercedes, Dalton speeds recklessly toward Wesley's estate. The car draws gunfire from Wesley's henchmen, but when it crashes they discover the car empty, and the knife that was used to kill Wade stuck in the accelerator. Using the distraction, Dalton sneaks onto the estate on foot and, one by one, dispatches each of Wesley's thugs. Eventually coming face to face with Wesley, Dalton gains the upper hand in their fight and prepares to finish Wesley in the same brutal manner as Jimmy, but decides against it. As Dalton releases him and walks away, Wesley seizes the opportunity to reach for a gun, but is promptly shot to death by Red, Emmett, Stroudenmire, and Tillman. They stash the weapons away prior to the arrival of law enforcement and proceed to corroborate each other's innocence, with the implication that what happened in Wesley's house will remain a secret. The final scene finds Dalton and Doc enjoying each other's company in a swimming hole, suggesting that they'd get together, and Dalton remains in town for good. Cast: Patrick Swayze as James Dalton, Kelly Lynch as Dr. Elizabeth Doc Clay, Sam Elliott as Wade Garrett, Ben Gazzara as Brad Wesley, Kevin Tighe as Frank Tillman, Red West as Red Webster, Jeff Healey as Cody, Sunshine Parker as Emmett Marshall, Teague as Jimmy, John Doe as Pat McGurn, Kathleen Wilhoit as Carrie, and Terry Funk as Morgan, Julie Michaels as Denise, Anthony DeLongis as Gary Ketchum, Travis McKenna as Jack, Heath David as Ernie Bass, the new bartender. Production: The double deuce scenes were filmed in New Hall, California. The bar was constructed for the movie and dismantled once filming was completed. The filming of much of the new Double Deuce was done at the Cowboy, the bandstand located at 1721 S. Manchester Ave in Anaheim, California. Scenes involving Brad Wesley's house and the house in which Dalton rents a room were filmed outside of Sanger, California. And the opening and monster truck scenes were filmed in Reedley, California. The Kings River runs between the two residences. Critical response. The film had a mixed reception with critics. Negative reviews such as one published by Variety is critical of a flat romantic attachment between Dalton and Clay, while garnering criticism since its vigilante justice, lawlessness, and wanton violence feel ludicrous in a modern setting. Other reviews are critical of Swayze's role as Dalton. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times gave the film 2.5 out of 4 stars, and commented that Roadhouse exists right on the edge between the good-bad movie and the merely bad. I hesitate to recommend it, because so much depends on the ironic vision of the viewer. This is not a good movie, but viewed in the right frame of mind, it is not a boring one either. The film has earned a 38% Rotten rating on Rotten Tomatoes based on 32 reviews, with an average rating of 5/10. When interviewed by Anthony Bourdain, Bill Murray lauded the film as unappreciated, with a complex plot and respect among actors in the film industry since its release. Box office. Although the film was not a major box office success, it did quite well on home video. The film also found life on cable television. Over time, the movie has garnered a cult following. Accolades. Roadhouse was nominated for 5 Golden Raspberry Awards: Worst Picture, Worst Actor, Worst Supporting Actor, Worst Director, and Worst Screenplay. The film is listed in Golden Raspberry Award founder John Wilson's book The Official Razzie Movie Guide as one of the 100 most enjoyably bad movies ever made. Soundtrack. The soundtrack for Roadhouse featured the Canadian guitarist Jeff Healey, whose band was featured in the film as the house band for the Double Deuce. Crusados were the band in the opening credits, contributing 3 songs to the film that never made the soundtrack. Patrick Swayze also wrote 1 song and sang 2 for the soundtrack. The film's score was composed by Michael Kamen. Sequel. A sequel, Roadhouse 2, was released directly to DVD in July 2006. Set many years later, and telling the story of Dalton's adult son, it featured no one from the original cast, and only a few references to Dalton. The sequel confirmed that Dalton's first name was James, which could be seen momentarily on the medical chart in the original film's hospital scene, but which had been otherwise unstated. At the same time Roadhouse 2 was released, the original film was reissued in a deluxe edition featuring, among other features, separate audio commentary tracks by director Herrington, Kevin Smith, and Scott Mosier, which the duo had expressed an interest in during the introduction of the 10th anniversary Clark's DVD. Musical. In 2003, an off-Broadway musical production of Roadhouse was staged as a campy comedy by Timothy Haskell, as seen by its full title of Roadhouse, the stage version of the cinema classic that starred Patrick Swayze. Except this one stars Timek from the 80s cult classic, The Last Dragon, wearing a blonde mullet wig. as a training video. It was reported that the NYPD was using a scene from Roadhouse as a part of the mandatory 3-day retraining course for 22,000 officers. Remake. On September 9, 2015, it was announced that Ronda Rousey would star in a remake of Roadhouse. On October 12, 2015, Nick Cassavetes was announced to write and direct the film. However, after Ronda's loss to Holly Holm at UFC 193 on November 15, 2015, the project was taken out of production. Thank you for watching. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Please like and subscribe below. Please like and subscribe below.